the 90-day streets, the streets that never ever sleep. Now, let's not waste too much time and let's dive into all the tea that we have for today. We're going to begin this one with Jenny. Now, Jenny is somebody that recently has come out to announce that she has been diagnosed with ALS. Now, with that being said, usually when these things happen, people set up certain GoFundMes, etc., etc. And to be fair, there has one been set up for Jenny. But this I heavily respect. She's come out with two posts. This first post, it says, or should I say, is at least in a collaboration of her and a company called Ultra Jewelry, introducing the Jenny Slayton necklace. The necklace was created in honor of Jenny, who was recently diagnosed with ALS. Her requested ALS non-profit is I Am ALS, so $5 from every necklace sold will go towards the organization. Thank you to Jenny's daughters for organize this collaboration. So as you can see, this is the jewelry itself in particular. One of Jenny Slayton from 90 Day Fiance's daughter recently reached out to me and asked if I could work together to create a necklace for her. And obviously, as you can see, the necklace itself in particular, you can get one here that I believe is in gold, and another one here that is also in silver. Also says that we settled on this heart pendant to honor Jenny and her journey, which is, to be fair, very touching. And then also on the next one here, as you can see, it does say the Jenny Slayton necklace. Jenny, known and loved from 90 Day the Other Way, was recently diagnosed with ALS. She and her husband Sumit have faced so much together. This necklace is a small way to honor that. So this is the first post that was made. Then there was another post that was made directly by Jenny herself in particular, with giving us more information regarding everything that is going down. So let's have a read. It says here, when Selena from Ultra Jewelry and I help with from my family began creating this necklace, we wanted to represent love, hope, and the journey that Jenny and Sumit and I are working together. My apologies. And the journey that Sumit and I are walking together. And also continues by saying the two stars symbolize the two of us and the bond we share through life's joys and challenges. As many of you know, I was recently diagnosed with ALS, and this season has shown us just how precious love, family, and support truly are. I am so grateful to Selena for bringing this meaningful piece to life. Even more special, $5 from every necklace purchase will be donated to the I Am ALS Foundation, helping support research, advocacy, and hope for everyone affected by this disease. Thank you to everyone who has supported us, prayed for us, and loved us throughout this journey. Your kindness means more than words can express. If you'd like to support this cause, we'd be honored if you wore the necklace as a reminder that hope shines brightest in difficult times. Link is in the story. So obviously, as you can see, something in particular, folks, this is the jewelry, and obviously what a lovely explanation to come with it. Now, again, like I said, this is something that I can heavily respect, because it does not revolve a GoFundMe. But anyway, with that being said, what are your thoughts on the matter in particular? And also, will you be heading over to Jenny's page to obviously find the link and then purchase the necklace? Or again, without even having to head over to the page, as you can see, has links here. It is literally ultrajewelry.com/ is there a slash? It's not a slash, is it? It is slash. Yes, /products/Jenny Slayton ALS necklace. So you can always type it in without actually having to go to her page. But either way, though, I do love something that is for a great cause. To be fair, I won't lie to you folks, I am definitely a conspiracy when it comes to research, because there's many things in this world that people have given money to, and the research is still ongoing. But yet we don't see where the money goes to. You know what I mean? Either way, though, I think the hearts itself in particular is absolutely amazing. Now, with that being said, we're now going to move on to another piece of information. Now, this one here is regarding now Liz. Liz herself is somebody that we know has been through the process of cancer. Now, Liz has come out with this post by saying, "Oh, cancer. This was also a year ago, and I'm not exactly out of the woods." Funny enough, because her name is Liz Woods. However, imagine being so sick to a point of your life, and you could never imagine you would meet your best friend at 98 pounds. No comments on this post. Now, I wonder why she has actually turned off the comments on her post. Now, I'll get into that in a second. Let's continue reading what it says here. Continues by saying, "There is so much to my journey, and I kept private." Okay. Obviously, Killpack Alec. I was skin and bone, and this man slept next to me by the toilet while I threw up all night and then some. Never left me for one moment, but to refill my Stanley, Stayed tuned in for my wedding vows. Now, why would the comment section itself in particular be turned off? Well, is it because people have been calling out her madness? Because we saw in her last season on 90 Day Fiance, that one being 90 Day The Single Life, she was more than happy to go all the way to Puerto Rico, a place that many of us would love to go to. And while she was out there, what did she do? She found another match, that being Villa. So much that not only did she kiss the guy, but also went the full distance, at least from what we saw anyway. Knowing that the whole time that she had Alec at home waiting for her. Now, she said that she told Alec that she obviously she was unsure about them to actually being the thing just now, but she basically said, let me just go and spread my wings and see how I feel. Which, listen, Alec agreed to it. You do you, bro. You're not a bro, but you do you, buddy. But at the same time, though, when she decided to get into a relationship or some sort of situationship with Villa, she did it without even telling him that she had a whole other dude back home. So much to the point that she allowed that man to catch feelings for her, and then also had the audacity at the tail to then sit there and say that if Villa had been honest and told her about his feelings for her, then maybe things could have been different. Meaning that maybe she could have dished Alec for Villa. The whole thing was nothing but a hot mess. And it was quite contradictory of her to say that, because even when she announced him on the show that she had another guy back home, she made it abundantly clear at the time that she had another guy back home that she wanted to still pursue a relationship with, basically blocking Villa from actually even being able to express how he felt anyway. But even after telling him that, she then proceeded to still sleep with Villa, and that's the moment that I then stopped feeling sorry for Villa, because he then still slept with her regardless, knowing that she was nothing but trash based on her behavior of lies, of deception, should we say. Not lies, deception is the better word. Either way though, I will say this though, I am still happy for her, obviously, regarding the cancer. Obviously, it's always good to see someone become a survivor of cancer, but of course, she's still going through a few things here and there. Here, then everything, not everything's clear just yet, but either way though, she's still on that route where she's more on the survivor than the other side. So still give, a shout out to her regarding that. But her personality, we shall never forget, because honestly, it was nothing but scumbag behavior. And that's why she has to turn off her comments. Can you believe it? Now, with that being said, we're now going to move on to the next piece of tea. Now, yesterday we made a video regarding the fact that there's going to be a new 90 Day TV spin-off. And this one here is going to be based in Florida. And the premise of the show is that it's going to be for couples that live in Florida only. Now, there was one couple that I did say that was missing from what had been listed, and that couple had been Andrei and Libby. Now, at the same time though, even though they wasn't in the images, I said that I wouldn't be surprised if they did still appear regardless, purely because, well, they live in Florida. Well, look what's happened there. Elizabeth decided to come out and make a comment where she says it was a hard pass for us, which is quite interesting, because you see, for herself here, she talks about how it was a hard pass for herself and for Andrei. But the funny thing is though, folks, is that I saw another post. I'm pretty sure I did. And I hope I did see this post, okay, guys? And this post in particular here was saying something slightly different towards, obviously, what she says here on the contraire. In fact, so the post that I saw, which was on 90 Day Fiance Update, said this instead. Elizabeth and Andrei are out. It looks like TLC's filming the brand new season, based on blah, blah. But Andrei declined TLC's offer and said he won't share a set with somebody he doesn't respect. He said he refuses because certain cast members abuse their meds and are difficult to work with on set. The series will focus solely on couples living in Florida, making a Florida-based spin-off, blah, blah, blah. So the question is though, which couple is he talking about? Who is he talking about? Which cast member is he talking about? Because again, let me remind you folks, he says here Andrei declined TLC's offer and said he won't share a set with somebody who he doesn't respect, and he said refused because certain cast members abuse their meds. So we got Jovi and Yara. I've never known anything about them being on meds, so I don't know if it's about them, so I don't think it's about those. But we do know that in the last season, Lauren and, well, to be fair, Lauren and Alex definitely had a situation with Elizabeth and Andrei that definitely didn't look good. Now, I don't know 100% if Lauren is on meds because she has Tourette's and other things, but I would imagine that could be who they're talking about. Maybe Lauren goes on set without taking her meds, and therefore maybe she ends up behaving in ways that clearly Andrei does not like and therefore does not respect. So my first guess is Lauren itself in particular. And also Alex may not take them, but I know they just don't like them both. Then also I looked at the next one. Now, but don't get me wrong, obviously the season itself did begin with them two being besties, Lauren and Elizabeth and all that kind of jazz, but who knows. Then obviously we got Courtney and Phil. Now obviously when it comes to Courtney and Phil, I can imagine Phil may be on meds because of his age, but at the same time though, they've never met Phil, so it couldn't be Phil. I mean, Courtney probably is on meds because the way that girl behaves, to be honest with you, I don't know if you can behave that way without being on meds. Was that a mean thing to say? Oh, well, you know how I am. I'm more dark in my jokes, and that wasn't one of my dark jokes. But to be fair, again, I don't think it would be Courtney or Phil. Then also we got Georgie and Darcy. I mean, yeah, I mean, listen, we know that Georgie and Darcy definitely love to be under the knife. We know they like to pump things in their faces, all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't mean they like to take actual medication, so in particular. Now, don't get me wrong, given the bipolarness of Darcy all the time, you never know. Maybe she's on some sort of bipolar freaking medicine. Was that too dark for you again? But again, though, I don't think it's Darcy or Georgie, to be honest with you. But then also, last but not least, we have Jasmine and Matt. Now, to be honest with you, to want to be around somebody like a Jasmine, you probably need to be popping some type of pill to be able to tolerate Jasmine's madness. The screaming and shouting, the attitude, oh my god, that's right, Jasmine. You probably need to be popping some kind of pill. So maybe it's Matt. You never know, but it's probably not Matt. It's probably not him. And then also Jasmine, well, we know if she had medication, she definitely doesn't take the medication because the woman's always off her rockers. So it's probably, again, not Jasmine and Matt, even though on the control, people probably would say that Jasmine and Matt should be taking something. Was that me for me to say? Oh, well. So therefore, I'm only going to assume that it can only be Libby and Alex and Lauren, purely because in the last time we saw those two couples together, there was definitely a situation with Libby and Lauren, so much to the point, even by the end of the season, they still couldn't really be on the same page anymore. And then also Andrei had his own issues with Alex. So I would say when it comes to respect, it's probably Alex that he doesn't respect anymore. If anything, probably Lauren as well on top of that. And also on top of that, like I said, Lauren's the only one that we know is diagnosed with something, so with the Tourette's other things. So therefore, maybe it's a case where she doesn't take her meds on set and maybe she acts out, blah, 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 who knows. But one thing that we do know for sure, is that whenever she is on set, whenever she does have some of her tics, or is it tics she has or Tourette's she has? Or just tics? Oh, it's a bit confusing, but sometimes people have more than one. I do apologize if I'm wrong which one it is, but when she does have some of her tics sometimes and you see her face move and whatnot, one thing what we'll say is that TLC definitely protect Laura's image as much as they can because the editing they do around her when she's talking is insane. That's why we barely actually ever see. For me, because I never saw their actual beginning season, I didn't know for ages that Lauren had like tics and stuff. We were just one time I was like thinking, why is this woman's face moving all the time? I was like, what's going on here? And then I found out that she had, you know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, my point being is that it further makes me believe that it is Lauren, because if TLC have to go out their way to really hide and really censor, you know, her tics and whatnot with the edits, tells me that maybe it's because she doesn't always take her meds. Maybe, potentially. Maybe. And maybe something that has now offended Andrei and maybe, you know, XYZ. Either way, though, this is the situation, folks. But the question remains, is anybody upset that Libby and Andrei are not going to be on the show? I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? Is anybody upset about that? Anyway, with that being said, we're now going to move on to the next piece of tea. This one here is a little bit about Cara. Now, Cara is somebody that is always under fire, but people just simply don't like her. So I found this post quite interesting on Reddit, where people say Cara's allegedly, well, she's got a new music video or a clip of some kind, which isn't there. Now, people then looked into the comment section. The comment section, as you can see, people are saying that those lyrics are craps. Permanent headache for the day. Has anyone seen Cara's new music video on the gram? The song is titled Amir Nuclear. The feedback is awful. Lots of comments are her use of Spanish. I didn't go looking for the video. Believe me, it showed up in my reels. I won't lie to you folks. After seeing this, I didn't even bother caring to even go look at it because I don't want to hear it, to be honest with you. Do I sound like, or do I look like I want to have a permanent headache? Nah, I'm good. But either way, though, it seems to me Cara's musical career seems to still be taking hits left, right, and center. Although I respect her hustle to never want to give up and to keep going, usually when people don't give up and keep going, usually they improve step by step. Especially if you've been in for year after year. And the fact that maybe there hasn't been any improvement, maybe girl needs to go back to the drawing board and really rethink about how she wants to go about her music career. I'm not saying quit maybe, but maybe go in a different direction. Either way though, people are not impressed. So I thought I'll share that information with you guys because I know how much you love her. Now we're going to move on to somebody else, and this one is all about Sarper. Now for me personally, when it comes to Sarper, I've never really listened to his comedy stand-ups, and whenever I've seen little clips here, there and everywhere, none of them have really ever landed for me. I don't really think he's a funny guy personally, but there are many people who have been to his shows and they have said that he's actually quite funny. But this post is now saying something completely different. This one is saying, does anyone get secondhand embarrassment from Sarper trying to be funny? Well, I don't get secondhand embarrassment, but I know I just don't find it funny. But anyway, this person says it was painful to watch him and try and make jokes with the guys by the bonfire in the recent last resort episode. That just to remind you guys regarding the episode itself in particular, it was very because in that one all we really heard him talking about was about how we are now the women's haters club, which was very, very unattractive and very, very uncruel. No, and very, very cruel as well, to be honest with you, to say this is who we are. Honestly, the guy thinks he's funny when he says certain things, but he's not, because for me personally, all of these jokes are predominantly bashing women. I mean, some people may see it as predominantly bashing his relationship with Shekinah, but anybody that has ever been in a relationship with a man that does not respect women, or a man that is quite manipulative or domestic and verbal or anything like that, will know that whenever that man opens his mouth and talks about women in general, will always use words that are not necessary. You know, for example, you may be talking to a guy and he may be like, yeah, that B-I-C-T-H over there. Oh, you mean that? You see what I'm saying? They always use words that are unkind. Rather than saying, oh, do you mean your friend Sharon? Oh, do you mean your friend Becky? Oh, do you see what I'm saying? Men that don't use your friend's actual names and they always speak about those women with words that are not needed, trust me, bad men to be around. Okay? Even if he sees someone that he doesn't know and he points and goes, oh, look at that trash over there. Do you see what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, when it comes to him, we know that he's got a foul mouth. He feels the need to always say things to make Shekinah feel less than. And to be honest, he probably does it with all women anyway, because he needs to make sure women believe that he is the big fish in the relationship. He has to be the alpha man. So therefore, to do so, what does he do? He says ridiculous things like, I'll go sleep with somebody else. Now, don't get me wrong. Doesn't mean I feel sorry for Shekinah, because Shekinah made her choice to want to still marry this man and bring him to the United States of America. So that is all on her. Either way though, it continues by saying he's painfully unfunny and someone needs to open his eyes to it. I was so hoping the whole time Patrick would tell him to his face that his jokes weren't landing, rather than saying it in the confessional. And you know what? I absolutely agree. Someone said, I get secondhand embarrassment from this, so why am I here? Why can't I find it within myself to leave? I mean, that's a very good point, to be fair. I thought it was cringe on the latest the last resort episode, where it seemed like he kept launching into his stand-up bits when they were all just hanging out drinking, exactly, because he thinks he's a funny dude. The William Wallace bit to make me cringe. As you can see, people were definitely not happy with the things that went down in the most recent episode with Sarper, because obviously Sarper himself in particular is now exposing himself more than ever to just be nothing but a creep, nothing but just unnecessary. In fact, I believe I have the clip here. Is this the clip here? Let's have a wander real quick. Oh yes, I think this is the one. Let's go through memory lane.
I always say she's my punishment in this life, because I had a lot of, I did a lot.
Him saying that she's his punishment in his life, whether it be true or not, but to say it so publicly around people tells you how much he does not respect her, and also tells you how much he probably has never respected women.
Bad things in my past. Redemption.
The way Sarper talks about Shekinah, like, I don't know why they're together, joking. I don't know. I kind of get like a 60% of his jokes. I think a lot.
And that was a reference there where people were hoping that maybe he said that to Sarper's face rather than in the confessional.
There's a union, guys.
That's a He-Man woman haters club going on.
Yes. You have to.
See, women haters group. And you see the way he feels the need to have to dictate and lead this group of men. Zaid was actually the one that disappointed me the most, because he was really falling in line.
Be together. I mean, we are in the middle of a freaking castle in United Kingdom, and I feel like William Wallace, you know?
I mean, when Sarper speaks,
he feels like William Wallace, you know? You see what I mean? This is obviously what people are talking about. And therefore, it was even more fascinating, because when the women were talking about Sarper,
you can literally tell, like, he controls everything. He wants to control everything. I think he wants someone that he can control, you know?
I mean,
And this is the maddest part about it all. Despite the fact that Thais actually does not like Shekinah in any shape or form, she was still not afraid to say as it is, how it is when it comes to Sarper. She still sees straight through him that he's nothing but clash.
She needs to look at me and say, wow, he's a hot guy. I'm a lucky bitch.
And I will leave it right there. Why should a woman sit there and ever say that I'm a lucky BSTH? A woman can sit and say this, I'm a very lucky woman to have my man because of this, this, and other. But why would they ever say that I'm a lucky BSTH? Make that make sense. You see what I mean? The level of disrespect that comes out of this man's mouth. Anybody that chooses to respect this man, you got issues. I promise you now. Issues! And you shouldn't be on my channel, to be honest with you. Now, with that being said, there's one more piece of tea. Now, as you know, Rob sometimes likes to go on his threads and he likes to have a little bit of a... Some people may call it a meltdown, but he definitely likes to, say a lot of things. So let's have a look at what he's been saying that has been circulating the social media right now. So he starts off here by saying that, rule of thumb, if a man walks away, it's for 2 reasons. First, and most common reason, you're just not who he really wants to be with, and you start acting entitled so he walks away to avoid drama. Okay. The second is when a guy truly loves you, but you don't appreciate him. Even still, he holds on for dear life, but eventually, to save his own sanity, he leaves. That's it. 99% of the time, he left for those reasons. If he told you otherwise, just a nice way of you falling into the first reason. Now, I'm gonna lie to you, folks. There is a lot of truth behind what he's saying, but I promise you now, only good guys and good guys who are genuine would leave for these reasons. Guys who are not genuine and they're not good guys, trust me when I tell you, they are sticking around because they're scumbags. Yes, and you will know they're scumbags. Then also continues even another elaboration by saying, so that being said, if you had a committed man and he walked away, that says a lot about you. Because good men will walk through fire to save love with the woman they chose. The man who you are with because they don't want to be alone, but they don't respect you, will never be required to walk through fire. They will put you through fire and dare you to leave, which triggers you to want to stay. That basically is representing a very toxic dynamic. The question is though, do you give me your thoughts on what Rob has had to say on both this one and this one? But I'm also going to finish off with this one here in particular, where he said the word thirsty is just stupid. Like, yes, I'm interested. So what? I'm supposed to feel ashamed of that? Now, everyone is too worried about being labeled thirsty to show any interest. What is your thought on that one as well, so in particular? Now, to be fair with you, I think the term thirsty is something that really, in his context, I feel like in the context that he's explaining it, I can understand and get what he's saying. But in other contexts, people can definitely be thirsty. But at the same time, there are a lot of words that begin in a positive way, but then always end up becoming negative. Like the word woke back in the day, when it first came out, it was a very positive thing to hear. But nowadays, it's a very negative thing to hear. So there are words that can definitely change over time, but was thirsty ever a word that came with a level of positivity from the very beginning? I don't recall so. Well, I mean, when I heard about it, it was definitely when it meant thirsty in a negative way. But either way, though, I would say that what Rob says there, it makes a lot of sense, but I don't think thirsty is the word he's looking for. I don't think the word thirsty is the best way to explain what he's trying to explain here, to be honest with you. I would say, in fact, he says the word thirsty is just stupid, like I'm interested. So what? See, the word would be I'm interested in you. You wouldn't use the word thirsty for someone you're interested in. No one would refer to you as thirsty for someone you're interested in. You got the word thirsty and you got the word simp. Those are words you don't want to hear. But obviously, if somebody says you're being thirsty or you're being a simp, trust me, you should pay attention to that information. But if it's clear that somebody says it looks, I can see you're interested in that person, that means that they know you're behaving in ways that make sense. You're not trying to compromise yourself or behave in ways that just doesn't make sense. So even though the point he makes overall is a good point, the word, it's not that deep, bro. Not that deep. But with that being said though, please do let me know your thoughts on everything that we have discussed in this video. And please make sure, most importantly, you have a great weekend today, Saturday. I hope the weather's good where you are. It's okay where I am. I hope it's great where you are, you know what I mean? But with that being said, please don't forget to hype the video, like the video, and also subscribe. Thank you so much for your time.